Do you ever get confused concerning fact versus fiction around herbs? Today we'll be talking about the facts of echinacea so that you will know how to use it appropriately. Echinacea, also known as coneflower, purple coneflower, hedgehog, snake root, and many other names, is a very useful plant that you should be growing in your garden. It is important for you to know the scientific names of the plants you are talking about if you're going to be using them medicinally, since entirely different plants may be known by the same common name, not only in different parts of the world, but in different parts of the same country. Echinacea purpurea and Echinacea angustifolia are both medicinal and are the ones we will be talking about today. Echinacea is known mostly for its antiviral properties and is used to treat colds, flus, and other viral infections, but it is also antibacterial, and until the introduction of sulfa antibiotics in the 1930s was the most common treatment for any infection. Echinacea works by boosting the immune system to do what it does best, destroying the enemy through increased production of white blood cells, including phagocytes which eat bacteria, viruses, and damaged cells, much like Pac-Man. In addition to boosting your immune system, echinacea also decreases inflammation, increases drainage from the lymph system, increases blood circulation, speeds wound healing, fights acne, and counteracts the effects of hyaluronidase, an enzyme found in the stings of bees, wasps, and scorpions, and in the venom of the brown recluse spider, the hobo spider, and pit vipers such as rattlesnakes, copperheads, and cottonmouths in the United States. This is why it's called snake root. Hyaluronidase is an enzyme that basically liquefies flesh by breaking down the hyaluronic acid that is the cement that holds your cells together. Have you planted that echinacea yet? But if you get bitten by a snake, get to the hospital as soon as possible. Unless you're out in the middle of nowhere, then eat the echinacea root, make a poultice of the echinacea to slap on the bite, and then get to the hospital as soon as possible. The flowers, leaves, and roots are all medicinal, and while the roots may be somewhat stronger medicine than the leaves and flowers, unless you have a really bad infection or a snake bite, most of the time the leaves and flowers work well enough to justify not killing the plant. If you leave the root, the plant will come back year after year. Echinacea can be used internally as a tea or tincture and externally as a poultice or salve. To make a tea to use when you are very sick, use 2 to 4 teaspoons of dried echinacea steeped in a cup of very hot water for 5 to 20 minutes. To make an even stronger medicine, add a teaspoon of dried peppermint to the tea. Each herb is great by itself, but together, well, 1 plus 1 equals 3. You may want to make a large batch of tea, which you can keep in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. Drink a cup of this tea every 2 hours until you see significant improvement with your issue. Then you can decrease to 1 cup every 4 hours until it is completely resolved. For colds, you can drink a cup of tea 2 to 3 times daily. Tinctures take longer to make, so you will want to make one before you need it, about 2 to 6 weeks before you need it. And since we don't normally know when we are going to need medicine, you should get on that as soon as this video is done. Not now, after the video. To learn how to make an easy tincture, click here. Tinctures take a long time to make, but one of the benefits of a tincture is that they last a very long time. Tinctures can keep for years as long as they are protected from light. You will want to store your tincture in a cool, dark place. Mix 1/2 to 1 teaspoonful of tincture in 4 ounces of water and drink this every 2 hours for a serious infection. Use 1/2 teaspoonful 2 to 3 times a day for a minor one. If you're learning something new, please hit that like button. A poultice can be made by mashing fresh or dried herb with a small amount of water to make a thick paste. This paste can be applied to insect stings and bites to decrease the damage done by the venom. Wrap the area with a towel or plastic wrap to keep the poultice moist. Replace the poultice every 4 hours after washing the area until it is healed. A salve is to a poultice as the tincture was to the tea. While a poultice can be made on the spot, salves take longer, so you will want to make this ahead of time, like after you make the tincture. After the video. Pack a pint canning jar with dried echinacea flowers and leaves. Dried herb is important so that your product doesn't mold. Cover the herb with a good quality oil such as sunflower, almond, or olive oil. Make sure all the herb is covered by at least a half an inch of oil to prevent molding. Stir the mixture to remove all air bubbles and add more oil if necessary. Cover with a lid and keep in a cool, dark place for 4 to 6 weeks. Then strain and keep the infused oil. Measure out 105 milliliter or 3.5 ounces of the infused oil and place it in a double boiler. Add 1/2 ounce of beeswax to the oil and heat on low to medium heat until the beeswax is completely melted and incorporated into the oil. You will want to stir constantly while the beeswax is melting. While the salve is still warm, pour it into ointment jars or tins and allow this to set up. This recipe will make about 4 ounces of salve. Apply the salve to bug bites or rashes 2 to 3 times daily as needed for inflammation. This salve should last up to 6 months at room temperature or for a year in the refrigerator. Echinacea has few side effects, and the most commonly reported are stomach pain and nausea. As with any substance, there is always the possibility of allergic reaction, including anaphylaxis, which can be life-threatening. If you're allergic to daisies, you should not take echinacea. As always, if you are pregnant or nursing, if you take a prescription medication, or if you have a chronic health condition, always check with your healthcare provider to make sure any herb you are interested in using is safe for your particular circumstance. While the studies are conflicting as to whether or not echinacea is safe for you if you have an autoimmune disease such as multiple sclerosis, lupus, or rheumatoid arthritis, since it enhances your immune system, you should check with your healthcare provider before using this herb. It would be best, if you're interested in adding herbal medicines to your daily routine, that you have a physician that is educated in both modern medicine and herbal medicine. To find a functional medicine doctor near you, I will leave a link in the description below. If you have found this information helpful, but you want more information on how herbs can help you have better health, click here now. Thank you for joining me today to learn about the amazing herb echinacea. Stay healthy. Now you can go make that tincture and that salve. And have a blessed week.